What are the best psychological mind tricks you know? Telling myself, I'll just do something light when I don't feel like exercising. It gets me started, and then I usually do a pretty good workout anyway. My boss at a retail store taught me this one on how to deal with customers when they won't stop talking to you because they have nothing else to do with their day. While they're talking with you, start walking towards the door while responding to them. They will naturally follow. You open the door for them while still talking to them, and they will walk through. You follow. Now you are both outside the store, and you say, "Okay, well, have a great day," and walk back inside. Always bring inept management 2 options, the one you want them to choose, and another that's obviously not a good idea. It can't be too obvious, though. If you give something to someone while talking to them, they will grab it automatically. If you want to make someone uncomfortable because they're a jerk, talk to them and don't look them in the eye. Look at their forehead. It slowly undermines their self-confidence, and they're so busy trying to figure out what you're doing that they forget to be an ass to you. When walking in crowded areas and an oncoming wall of humans are consuming the entire sidewalk, just stop. Completely stop. They will move around you, clearing the path. It feels like Moses parting the sea. When doing one-on-ones with people, especially when you want to get to the bottom of something, say nothing. Ask an initial question. Let them talk. Say nothing in reply or something small that they can't change the tangent of the conversation. Most people become uncomfortable and will fill the silence by talking more. You gain a lot more from this that you would in some instances than by asking probing questions. Doesn't work on extreme introverts though. They don't mind the silence. Get someone to say yes to something small, and it significantly increases the odds they'll say yes to something bigger. Get someone to fulfill small favors for you, and you'll increase chances significantly that they'll think favorably about you. When you can't choose between 2 things, do the coin 50-50, but don't look at the result. Pick the thing that you wish would have one. It works every time, at least for me. I love subtly making my coworkers like each other with very, very small manipulations nobody questions. Like telling them something they did good or what is great about them, and adding, X thinks that too. Doing the same thing with Y, telling them X said so. I know it sounds terrible, but I love it when they start to really act nicer to each other and becoming friendly over the time. You have to be very patient and don't rush it. Keep it very casual and simple, just to leave a positive impression they get of each other. At one point, it stops being a lie because they really say nice things about each other. Memorization by repetition. Be an active listener, and people will tell you more than they want to without realizing. Encouraging words and gestures at appropriate times are op AF. If you are also non-committal with your statements, you are halfway to being a decent lawyer. Letting people who are wrong think they are right, and then minding my own business. Saves me mod energy and peace of mind. Folded hands. They can never know my Jedi ways. Stop talking. If you are negotiating with someone, even over something small, and it's not going the way you want, just look at them and listen. They will get to a point where they have laid out their position and know that you are unhappy with it. Let them be uncomfortable with the silence and keep talking themselves into a worse position. Works very well with sales guys delivering less than optimal offers. When someone is emotional and telling you why, respond by briefly matching their level of emotion. Then step it back with progressively softer statements, ending in a questions and a possible solution. It's showing them that you are hearing them and care, while subtly descaling. Brush your teeth after dinner. If you're like me, having to brush them again before bed is enough of a deterrent to keep me from having a midnight snack. If you want a panic attack, overthink. If you're stuck talking to someone on the phone, walk to your own front door and ring the doorbell or knock on it. Then you just say, "Hey, someone's at the door, I gotta go," and say bye and hang up. Works every time. If you need kids to do something or agree to something, tell them you'll time them. If you're getting frustrated, force a smile. I think it's motor neurons that control this. Could be wrong. Anyways, your brain recognizes some actions as connected to mind state. Tense muscles equals anxiety. Smiling equals happy, and will operate backwards. You can relax your muscles to gain calm, and you can smile your way to relief from the anger response. Source: teacher who smiled at a lot of fucking kids. If you find yourself in a stressful situation and need to clear your mind, try to recite the alphabet backwards in your head. From experience, it helps shift your focus and calm you down. I've done it that many times that I can recite it backwards as quickly as I can forwards, which has the added benefit of impressing my kids immensely. If you talk and someone interrupts you, keep talking but quieter. They will listen when you hit this perfect volume. Say thank you more. If you want to get someone to do something, positive reinforcement is much more efficacious than punishment. To mess with someone when golfing, ask them if they breathe in or out when swinging. The best lies have elements of the truth with subtle changes to suit the perception you want others to accept as the reality. Good for dates or strangers when you do not know what to talk about is to ask them questions about themselves. Listen to their answer and ask them a follow-up. Everyone likes to talk about themselves, or it is at least easy to do so. If you want to get information, make people uncomfortable by silence, and simple why. Tell someone you have a knock-knock joke for them, and then have them say knock-knock first. If you misplace something, when you find it again, put it back in the first place you looked for it. When someone shoots an insult or wise-ass comment, play dumb and pretend you don't understand or didn't hear them. It removes their power if they have to repeat it. If you have trouble motivating yourself to do something like learn a skill, instrument, language, etc., tell yourself, okay, I'll sit down and do this for just 5 minutes. A lot of the time, you'll end up going for much longer than 5 minutes. But even if you don't, it's still 5 minutes of practice in whatever the heck you wanted to learn in the first place. I once read a suggestion about customer kung fu that I love. Basically, if someone calls you upset about something, if you downplay it, they aren't going to feel heard and will escalate their upset. But if you overplay it, oh no, your cable was out for 2 hours? How frustrating. I am so sorry you went through that. They're more likely to feel heard and respond reasonably, possibly even coming down from their initial anger to, well, it wasn't really that big a deal. People really just want to feel like you're appreciating the difficulty they had. Trousers down to ankles at the urinal. Asking for a favor while someone is eating or just finished eating. Their ape brain is happy that food is in belly and they are more agreeable. Works better if you are the one who provided the food. It has a 100% success rate so far for me. Don't do it often. They will catch on. The read technique. A few months ago, for example, I got my neighbors to admit to putting water in my gas tank by telling them I had security camera footage of them doing it and that I wouldn't call the police if they admitted to it. I don't even have cameras, and I still reported them to the police anyways, LOL. Looking at someone's forehead will make them uncomfortable. Saying high five, but not lifting your hand to clap the other person's hand. I often talk with people who are upset about something, so I use the following 4 strategies. 1. Start off with the phrase, so what's going on? It's casual, chatty, and lets them set the agenda. 2. Tell them, so you're upset about underscore. They will either confirm this and feel heard or tell you no and follow it up by what they are upset about. 3. Repeat the last couple of words of their sentences. It keeps them talking and they feel like you understand what they're saying even if you don't. 4. If you ever need to get information out of someone, tell them you already know the secret and just make something up. The urge to correct you will be too great and they'll spill the beans. When you are questioning anyone, whether it's a criminal or a kid and you are unsure of their innocence, start with 3 questions unthreatening related to the person you are speaking to, like how their day was, how their favorite sports team is doing, etc. Then follow up with a blunt question related to investigation that can be answered with a yes or no. I noticed some cookies missing from the jar, and you and Scruffy are covered in crumbs. Want to explain that? This is very effective at getting a guilty person to completely shut down or trip over themselves trying to come up with a lie on the fly. IDK what they call this, but it is a thing that Viktor Frankl used to survive psychologically, the Nazi death camp. This is a mental practice where you use your imagination to create a world that you want to live in. This gives hope and drive to live. I think it is called logotherapy. This saved me countless of times.